Why fit men over 40 break the dating rules women are used to, or relationship psychology? He didn't say much. He didn't rush to impress. He didn't lean forward with hunger in his eyes. And that's exactly why she noticed him. Not because he was younger, not because he was louder, not because he was chasing, but because something about him felt different. He moved through the room with ease, not performing, not apologizing, not proving. And in a world where dating has become loud, fast, and desperate, that quiet difference breaks every rule women have learned to expect. Let that sink in. By the time a woman reaches her 40s, 50s, or beyond, she knows the rules. She has lived them. Men pursue, men escalate. Men perform confidence until it cracks. Men want to be chosen, even when they pretend they don't. She knows the rhythm, the timing of the texts, the predictable compliments, the subtle pressure hidden beneath charm. And then she meets a fit man over 40 who doesn't play that game. And suddenly everything she thought she understood shifts. This isn't about muscles. It's not about abs or bodies or youth. It's about self-possession. Because physical fitness after 40 is rarely about appearance alone. It's about discipline, consistency, self-respect. And women feel the difference immediately. Let me tell you why. A man who takes care of his body at this stage of life has already broken one unspoken rule. He didn't give up on himself. Most people do. They surrender quietly. They settle into excuses. They let time decide who they become. But a fit man over 40 made a different choice. Not overnight, not dramatically. He chose effort over comfort, responsibility over neglect, presence over numbness. And that choice doesn't stay in the gym. It follows him into relationships. Let that sink in. Women are used to men who seek validation. Men who want reassurance disguised as desire. Men who confuse attraction with approval. But a man who is physically fit at this age often doesn't need validation to feel real, and that breaks the rules. He doesn't chase to feel worthy. He doesn't rush intimacy to prove something. He doesn't cling when interest is uncertain. And here's the uncomfortable truth. This can be deeply unsettling to women who are used to being pursued in predictable ways. Because when a man doesn't need to convince you to like him, you start wondering why. Is he uninterested? Is he unavailable? Is he hiding something? No, he's simply regulated. And emotional regulation is rare. Let that sink in. Here is where desire begins to change. Women are not attracted to effort alone. They are attracted to energy, and energy is shaped by how a man relates to himself. A fit man over 40 has learned something many men haven't had, that motivation doesn't come from urgency. It comes from alignment. He doesn't punish his body. He partners with it. And that same dynamic shows up emotionally. He listens without interrupting. He pauses without panicking. He allows silence without filling it. That's not accidental. It's practiced. And women are used to men who collapse in silence. Men who rush to fix, men who rush to touch, men who rush to define the relationship before it's even alive. So when a man doesn't do that, something inside her slows down. Let that sink in. Now here's the part most people misunderstand. Fit men over 40 don't break dating rules intentionally. They break them because they no longer live from insecurity. Insecurity makes you predictable. Confidence makes you grounded. And grounded men don't need strategies. They don't text to manipulate. They don't withhold to control. They don't escalate to dominate. They respond. And responsiveness is intimate. Because it says, I'm here with what's actually happening. Not with fantasy, not with fear, not with an agenda. And women feel that difference immediately. Here's the unexpected emotional twist. Many women initially misread this man. They think he's emotionally distant. They think he's less interested. They think he's harder to access. But what they're actually sensing is containment. He doesn't spill himself everywhere. He doesn't overshare to bond prematurely. He doesn't confuse intensity with intimacy. And because of that, attraction deepens instead of burns out. Let that sink in. Let's talk about physical fitness. Honestly, fitness at this age is not about vanity. It's about self-trust. Every time he chooses movement over stagnation. every time he shows up when motivation is low, every time he keeps a promise to himself, he reinforces something powerful. I can rely on myself. And men who trust themselves don't need to extract trust from women. They don't push for reassurance. They don't demand exclusivity too soon. They don't fear being alone. And that breaks another rule women are used to, because many dating dynamics are built on subtle anxiety. Who cares more? Who texts first? Who pulls away? A fit man over 40 doesn't play that game, not because he's detached, but because he's anchored. Let that sink in. Now let's talk about aging. Many men experience aging as loss of power, loss of relevance, loss of desirability. So they compensate with status, with money, with control. But a man who maintains his physical health over time experiences aging differently. He feels capability instead of decline, agency instead of resignation, continuity instead of collapse. And that internal experience shapes how he shows up with women. He doesn't approach dating as a last chance. He approaches it as an option. That distinction changes everything. Women feel when a man is dating from scarcity. Scarcity creates pressure, and pressure suffocates desire. Let that sink in. Here's a truth that may feel uncomfortable. Many women are used to being desired for what they provide emotionally. They listen, they soothe, they affirm, and many men unconsciously look for women to regulate them. But a man who has learned to regulate himself through discipline, movement, routine, does not unconsciously assign that job to her. He doesn't expect her to manage his emotions. He doesn't rely on her to motivate him. He doesn't outsource his stability. And that creates a different kind of attraction. Because now she can relax. She doesn't have to perform emotional labor to keep him steady. She can meet him as an equal. Let that sink in. This is where the dating rules truly collapse. Women are used to men who want something from them: approval, validation, direction, meaning. A man who doesn't need those things creates space. And space is seductive because in that space a woman can choose, not rescue, not manage, not reassure, choose. And choice is the foundation of genuine desire. Now let me speak directly to you. If you are a fit man over 40, this is not permission to be arrogant. Arrogance is insecurity in disguise. What makes you different is not your body, it's your relationship with effort. Effort that is consistent, not dramatic. Effort that is internal, not performative. And that effort must extend beyond the physical. Because here's the risk. Some men build strong bodies and emotionally disappear. They discipline their muscles but avoid their inner life. That eventually shows. Women may be initially attracted, but intimacy will stall. Because physical fitness without emotional availability becomes another form of armor. Let that sink in. The men who truly break dating rules are those who integrate strength with softness, who can be firm without being rigid, who can be confident without being closed, who can desire without consuming. These men don't need to dominate a room. Their presence does the work. Now let's address loneliness. Many fit men over 40 are not lonely, not because they are surrounded by people, but because they have learned to enjoy their own company. And women feel that. A man who is comfortable alone does not cling when connection appears. He doesn't rush to secure it. He allows it to unfold. And unfolding feels organic, not forced. Let that sink in. Here's the quiet climax of this truth. Fit men over 40 break dating rules because they don't approach dating as a transaction. They don't think, if I do this, she will do that. They think, let's see who we are together. And that mindset changes the entire dynamic. No chasing, no power games, no manipulation, just curiosity. And curiosity is deeply intimate. Because it says, I want to know you, not use you. Women are not used to that. And when they encounter it, something awakens, not urgency, depth. Now let me leave you with something bittersweet. Not every woman will be drawn to this version of you. Some are more comfortable with chaos. Some confuse intensity with intimacy. Some are not ready for steadiness. That is not rejection. That is alignment. You are not here to follow outdated dating rules. You are here to embody something different, something calmer, something truer, something alive. And when you do, you won't need to break rules intentionally. Your presence will do it for you. Let that sink in, because the most attractive thing a man over 40 can offer is not his body, it's his self-possession. And from that place, connection doesn't have to be forced. It emerges quietly, naturally, honestly. And that is what changes everything.